Hello everyone, I am Dr. Gauri Abhyankar, working as an assistant professor in Abasaheb Garware College, Pune. In this session, we are going to conclude nucleus, studying the third part of nucleus. Now in this session, we are going to focus on the assembly and functions of ribosomes. Ribosomes are very much important for protein synthesis. Each ribosome consists of two subunits, one large subunit and a small subunit. Now both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells contain large number of ribosomes because they are necessary for protein synthesis. Now each ribosomal subunit is used or it is denoted as either 80S or 50S or 60S subunit, that is a Swedberg unit. These ribosomes, mainly we are going to focus on the study of the ribosomal RNA genes. So we will be looking at this session with four major learning objectives. The first one is to study the structure of ribosomes. Second one is study of ribosomal RNA genes. Third one is processing of these ribosomal RNA genes. And last one is biogenesis, that is formation and assembly of ribosomes. The slide shows you precise difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic ribosomes. Prokaryotic ribosomes are 70S ribosomes, whereas eukaryotic ones are 80S ribosomes. Here S stands for Swedberg unit. Prokaryotic ribosomes show large subunit as 50S and smaller one as 30S, while eukaryotic ribosomes have 60S and 40S subunits. The prokaryotic ribosomes are less complex as compared to eukaryotic ones. 50S subunit consists of 5S rRNA, 23S rRNA and 34 polypeptides, whereas 60S ribosomes are made up of 5S rRNA, 5.8S rRNA, 6.8S rRNA, 28S rRNA and 49 polypeptides. The smaller subunits of both types of ribosomes are simple, consisting of only one type of rRNA. 30S subunit includes 16S rRNA and 21 polypeptides, while 40S subunit has 18S rRNA and more than 33 polypeptides. The right hand panel shows elaborate structure of 30S rRNA. It shows mRNA as purple ribbons, head that is green, central domain is blue and the body is red. The gold ribbons represent binding from the anticodon stem loop. The left hand side figure shows rRNA structure as a single continuous strand H bonded back on itself with a 5' beginning and 3' end. Here you can see structure of ribosomal rRNA genes and their transcription. Each ribosomal RNA gene is a single transcription unit containing 18S, 5.8S and 28S ribosomal RNAs as well as transcribed spacer sequences. A single copy of ribosomal DNA repeat could not be transcribed at a sufficient rate for the cell's requirement for ribosomes, so all organisms carry multiple ribosomal DNA copies. The ribosomal RNA genes are organized in tandem arrays separated by non-transcribed spacer DNA. This arrangement in tandem repeats is likely to produce high local concentration of various factors required for ribosomal biogenesis and so increase the efficiency of ribosome production. Out of 4 rRNAs, 5.8S, 18S and 28S rRNAs are transcribed as a single unit within the nucleolus by the enzyme RNA polymerase I, yielding 45S ribosomal pre-rRNA. It is further processed to yield these 3 different rRNAs. In almost all eukaryotes, 5S rRNA is transcribed separately outside the nucleolus and it is catalyzed by RNA polymerase III. But in Saccharomyces cerevisiae, 5S gene is part of the same repeating unit as other rRNA genes, but it is transcribed by RNA polymerase III in the opposite direction from other rRNA genes. Morphologically, nucleolus consists of 3 distinct regions, namely fibrillar center, dense fibrillar component and granular component. These different regions represent the sites of different functions. Fibrillar center is the site for progressive stages of rRNA transcription. Processing of rRNA takes place in dense granular component and ribosome assembly is thought to be the function of granular component. Following each cell division, nucleoli become linked with chromosomal regions containing 5.8S, 18S and 28S rRNA genes and are then called as nucleolar organizing regions. In most cells, initially separate nucleoli fuse to form single nucleolus. Size of the nucleolus depends on the metabolic activity of the cells. Cells actively engaged in protein synthesis usually show larger nucleoli. Higher plants have thousands of rDNA copies, although some algae have only hundreds. Usually, there is a broad correlation observed between genome size and number of rDNA copies. As the genome size is larger, number of rDNA copies is more. So, it is thought that the extra copies of rDNA may be acting as a sensor for DNA damage. The left hand side figure shows you nuclei from pea plant stained with a DNA specific dye. Nucleolus is transcriptionally most active region of nucleus and has relatively low concentration of DNA. So, you can see nucleoli here as dark regions that are marked by white arrows. Next figures A, B and C show you a transmission electron micrograph depicting P root nucleoli at different magnifications labeled with bromouracil. Occasionally, more condensed regions of chromatin are seen within the fibrillar centers. Figure A shows a low magnification image in which nascent ribosomal RNA is observed as dots in dense fibrillar component. These nascent ribosomal RNA transcripts are detected with silver enhanced gold particles. Figure B shows higher magnification image wherein ribosomal DNA repeats are frequently seen as knobs at the periphery of the nucleoli or even inside condensed into a heterochromatic state. This is particularly common in plants, probably due to presence of large number of rDNA repeats. Many copies of these rDNA repeats are silent or inactive. Each knob-like structure contains about 20 to 30 particles. Individual transcription unit can be observed in figure C. Ribosomal RNA genes exist in tandem arrays. Each of these genes contain core sequences and upstream promoter enhancer components. The rDNA is transcribed in very high quantities and at higher rates. Miller-Sprade's is the only method for detailed visualization of active ribosomal DNA genes. These preparations of nuclear genes are known as Christmas trees. You can see arrangement of transcripts in the form of a Christmas tree. The spreads show the gene axis with many engaged polymerase I molecules. Gene axis can be seen as black long line marked within the tree. Transcription is initiated at the start point where the transcripts are shorter and towards the end they are longer. The red arrow marks the direction of transcription. But you have to remember that all ribosomal RNA genes do not go for transcription. That is, all genes are not expressed. In the figure, you can see only gene axis without any transcripts marked with a green arrow which shows presence of non-transcribed DNA. All ribosomal RNA with the exception of 5S are transcribed as a polycistronic transcript known as 45S pre-rRNA in the nucleolus. As you can see in figure, rRNA gene promoter contains two sequence elements known as upstream control elements or UCE and the core which are shown in the inset. A transcription factor UBF binds as a dimer with a 150 base pair region of DNA in the rRNA gene promoter. Binding of UBF enables recruitment of other two transcription factors, that is SL1 and polymerase I to the promoter. The initiation factor TIF1A is also part of this complex. Simultaneously with ribosomal RNA transcription, the ribosomal RNA sequences are extensively modified. Specifically, a large family of small nucleolar RNAs is involved in these modifications. This is accomplished through direct base pairing of SNO RNAs, that is small nucleolar RNAs with specific ribosomal RNA sequences. In addition, other small nucleolar RNAs also guide formation of methylated nucleosides in rRNA. The pre-rRNA precursor is then cleaved at specific sites by RNases to produce a series of characteristic intermediates and finally mature RNAs, that is 18S or 5.8S or 28S rRNA. The slide shows current model for ribosome export that is conserved from yeast to higher eukaryotes. The model states that karyoferrin or exportin CRM1 associates with pre-60S particles in the nucleus through binding to a non-ribosomal protein NMD3P shown in yellow color. Pre-assembled ribosomes exit the nucleus through the nuclear pore complex with the help of export adapter NMD3. This NMD3 is linked to the ribosome protein RP110. NMD3 functions as an adapter molecule in the export of both small and large ribosome subunit and provides the nuclear export signal. This allows for formation of an export complex in a RAN-GTP dependent manner and unidirectional trafficking of nascent 60S subunits to the cytoplasm. The nascent subunits entering the cytoplasm are functionally inactive because they have trans-acting factors on them that block their function. These include MRT4 shown in red, which blocks assembly of the stalk, that is hydra-like appendage. TIF6 shown in green prevents the small subunit from binding. The ribosome also lacks essential proteins, notably the stalk, which is required for ribosome to be able to engage with translation factors. RP110 binds to 60S subunits only in the cytoplasm so that NMD3 is released. Nuclear export of pre-40S particles is also dependent on CRM1. An essential step in ribosome biogenesis is the assembly of 28S, 18S, 5.8S rRNAs with 5S rRNA and with ribosome proteins. All ribosomal proteins are transcribed by polymerase II and translated in the cytoplasm. They are then imported into the nucleus and are assembled on the pre-rRNA while it is being transcribed. The association of rRNAs with ribosomal proteins results in formation of RNP precursor, that is ribonucleoprotein precursors. The composition of the pre-ribosome subunits is highly dynamic and involves over 150 proteins with various activities. Different ribosome proteins control distinct steps of nuclear and cytoplasmic pre-rRNA processing. Many ribosomal proteins are required for efficient nuclear export of pre-18S rRNA in such a way that they form an interactive platform with the export machinery, whereas presence of most other ribosome proteins is required before nuclear export is initiated. The pre-rRNA transcript is assembled into 90S pre-ribosome. The association of ribosomal proteins start associating with rRNA during the synthesis of pre-rRNA. As the ribosomal proteins assemble, the pre-rRNA folds and undergoes a series of cleavages to generate 18S, 5.8S and 28S rRNAs. The processing of smaller subunit containing 18S rRNA is simple and it involves only 4 endonuclease cleavages. This processing is completed within the nucleus. Processing of the larger subunit involves extensive nuclease cleavages and it is completed within the nucleolus. These ribosomes are processed further and assembled to produce 40S and 60S ribosomal subunits. One of these pre-ribosomal complexes include small subunit containing U3 small nucleolar ribonucleoproteins along with ribosomal and non-ribosomal proteins. These pre-ribosomal particles are exported to cytoplasm, and then final stages of ribosome maturation takes place to form active ribosome subunits. The figure shows final appearance of fully mature ribosomes in the cytoplasm. Usually, they are distributed throughout the cell. Let us sum up quickly what we have seen for ribosomes. Initially, we started with structure of ribosomes, two subunits, and how prokaryotic and eukaryotic ribosomes are formed. Then we have seen the structure of rRNA genes and their processing, how each type of rRNA is produced, and then how they are processed further to form 18S or 16S or 5.8S rRNA. Once we have seen their genes and their processing, we have also seen the maturation of these rRNAs, their export, and also the biogenesis of these RNA and how ribosomes are assembled in the cytoplasm.